All right, hello everyone. It has been quite a while since I have been able to play one of these Marvel Champions solo games on camera. So I am excited to be back at it today. Haven't stopped playing the game, been playing a lot of multiplayer over the last couple months, just haven't had time to play by myself on camera. So today I thought I would try out on camera some of the new content that we have gotten over the last couple months. So the new character that we've gotten recently is we got the Nightcrawler character. So I'll be playing Nightcrawler today, and I'll be playing him in his aspect that he comes packaged as. So he comes packaged as a protection character. So I'll be playing him as a protection character. I have made some upgrades to his deck, so it's not his pre-built deck, but it is still protection. As far as the villain I'm going to play against today, I just chose one that I hadn't done yet. I am doing the Marauders. I had already previously done the Morlock Siege Marauders scenario, so today I'm going to do the On the Run Marauders scenario. It uses the same set of villains, but you only use one of them instead of multiple. And then you also get some of the Marauders as minions as well. So at the beginning of the game, you choose one of the villains randomly. So we got Arclight, and then you take her minion version out of the deck. So we won't see her minion version in the deck. And then we give her the Hope's Captor attachment, which is basically our win condition for the game. So it says when the villain would attack you, if there is a Marauder minion engaged with you, the villain schemes instead. When the villain would be defeated, reset the attached villain's hit points so that we still have to defeat the villain twice, basically, as if we were doing a normal villain. And then flip this card. When you flip this card, the villain gets +1 scheme and +1 attack. It keeps its ability that says when the villain would attack, if you have a Marauder minion, it schemes instead. The villain gets a little bit more health than it normally does on the second one, and then it makes the scheme move to the second scheme. If the first scheme gets too much threat on it, then we just lose. So the only way that the scheme goes from scheme 1 to scheme 2 is when we defeat the villain the first time. It does not move to scheme 2 when it fills up like the schemes normally do. If it fills up, then we just lose. As part of setup, we have to, when we reveal this scheme, we have to decide on a minion, Marauder minion, to put in play with us. We get to pick one of the Marauder minions and then shuffle the deck afterwards. So I went ahead and picked Chimera. Chimera has Patrol, which means I won't be able to remove threat from the main scheme while she's engaged with me. And then she has, when she would attack me or an ally I control, I have to spend a blue resource or give her +2 attack. And all of the Marauders have something similar like this. So Arclight's ability is that when she attacks, I have to confuse a character I control or give her +2 attack. All right. Let's look at Kurt's abilities. So Kurt's ability says, action once per round, search your deck for a copy of Bamf and add it to your hand. Bamf is the main card that he's going to use. That's the noise that he makes when he teleports. So when he teleports in or teleports away, that's what Bamf's, the sound it makes. His action on the hero side is spend a resource of any type, return a copy of Bamf from your discard pile to your hand. So he pretty much always has access to that card. And then I think he has like 4 or 5 copies of it as well. All right, let's look what we got in our starting hand. We got 2 resource cards, so that'll be nice to get started with. We got 2 copies of Powerful Punch. So it says when an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. So this is one that I'll play during the villain phase usually. I got Nerves of Steel, which is exhaust it to generate a yellow resource for a defense event. And I got the Gambit Ally. Gambit Ally, after he enters play, look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, tuck 1 underneath of him, and the boost icons on that card the boost icons on that card that we decide to tuck under him will determine what his stats are. So it's going to be anything from 0 to 3 usually, with an average of at least 1. All right, well, I got some resource cards. So, and these cards that I got, these powerful punches are events I'm going to want to play during the villain phase, and I'm going to get to draw back up to my hand size before I'll play those. So I'm going to spend 2 resources with energy and play Nerves of Steel. So now I can generate a yellow resource for a defense event with that. I'll spend 3 resources, and I will put Gambit into play. And then when he comes into play, I look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. So 3, 2, 1. All right, so I can pick one that has 3, one that has 1, or one that has 2. I will pick one that has 3, and I will tuck it underneath of him. So while Gambit is in play now, he is going to attack for 3 and scheme for, or thwart for 3. All right. I did not end up with a copy of Bamf in my starting hand, so before I flip over to hero form, I'm going to use his alter ego action to search my deck for Bamf and put it in my hand. Okay. So grab a copy of Bamf and put it in my hand, and then I will shuffle my deck. While I'm shuffling, I'm going to go ahead and flip over to hero form. All right, so as a protection character, obviously Nightcrawler is want to do a lot of defensive stuff. That's why he's got these defense events in his deck. But Bamf is really the focus of it. What it does is if you play Bamf, it's free and you can attach it to an enemy. And when that enemy attacks, you discard Bamf and say Nightcrawler is going to attack it, and then, or defend it, I mean, sorry. And the benefit is that he gets to defend, he gets to use his defense, but he doesn't have to exhaust like you do normally. So that is the benefit of playing Bamf. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Bamf on 2. Let's see. I'm going to put Bamf on... Am I going to be able to kill Chimera? I don't think so. So I think I'm going to put it on to her. That way I don't have to spend any resources, just if she doesn't die. Okay. I'm going to use Gambit to attack her for 3, and I'll use Nightcrawler to attack her for 1. So she will be down to 1 health. And then Gambit needs to take a damage. Okay, and then I'm just left with 1 card, so I am not going to do anything with that yet. So I'm going to ready my characters and draw my hand size. So I need to draw up to 5. All right, I got a Scout Ahead. I got Teleport Drop, Armored Vest, and 1 more, Unflappable. Okay, so Unflappable is an upgrade. If I have it in play and I defend and take no damage, I can draw a card. Armored Vest just gives me permanent +1 defense. Scout Ahead is a thwart card, so I can remove 3 threat from a scheme, discard a copy of Bamf to remove 3 threat from another scheme. Teleport Drop is one of his big attack cards, so I can discard a copy of Bamf from an enemy to deal 8 damage to that enemy and stun it. And then Powerful Punch is the one that we already had. Okay. So first thing that's going to happen is Arclight is going to get 1 threat on the main scheme, and then Arclight is going to attack. So when she attacks, since I have a Marauder minion in play, she's going to scheme instead. That's what Hope's Captor does. So she's going to scheme for 1 plus a boost card. So she's going to scheme for 3. So she's going to go up to 5. All right. And then when Chimera attacks, I'm going to defend without exhausting because I'm going to discard this copy of Banff. So Chimera attacks for 1 plus 2 unless I discard a resource, but I defend for 3. So I'm going to just defend it for 3 because that's exactly how much she's going to attack for. That way I don't have to spend any resources. And then I could play Powerful Punch, but it would be a bit of a waste because it would be doing 4 damage to an enemy that only has 1 health left. But it would also get rid of her without... No, I think I'm going to hold on to it because I can do 1 thwart or 1 attack with Nightcrawler on my next turn. So I think I'll just stay there. That way I'm not wasting all that damage. All right, so then I get my encounter card for the turn, which is Tag Team. When revealed, choose each Marauder minion engaged with you activates, or discard 7 cards from the top of the encounter deck. Put the topmost Marauder minion in the encounter discard pile into play engaged with you. I think I'm going to let her activate against me, and if I let her have +2 attack, she'll hit for 3, or I can spend a blue resource from my hand. I'd really like to... I'd like to play both of these blue cards, if possible. But I also need to remove some threat with Scout Ahead. And it would be silly of me not to play Teleport Drop. So I think I will discard Unflappable as the blue resource for Chimera and let her attack me for just 1, and I'm not going to defend it. I'm just going to take it. So I'm down to 8 health. Okay, then it is my turn, and I am going to spend Nightcrawler's basic attack of 1 to finish off Chimera, which means the patrol is gone. And then I will, let's do, I want to give him +1 defense. So I'm going to spend Powerful Punch and play Armored Vest. Then I don't have enough to do Teleport Drop. Maybe I want to wait on that. I'm going to have Gambit. If he attacks for 3, I can... Let's do it this way. So I'm going to spend Powerful Punch as a resource to activate his Rapid Teleportation ability. So spend a resource of any type to return a copy of Banff from my discard pile to my hand. I'm going to grab that copy of Banff from my discard pile. And I'm going to attach Banff to Arclight. Then I'll spend my other 2 cards to play Teleport Drop and discard a copy of Banff from an enemy to deal 8 damage to that enemy and stun it. So I'll knock her down to 2 health and stun her. Okay, here's the stun, so she won't attack. Okay, and then Gambit would attack or thwart for 3. If I attack for 3, I would knock her out. But then she'd be guaranteed to go up to 6 threat. Oh, but if I knock her out, then it just goes to the next stage. So she wouldn't go to 6 threat. She would go. It would reset. So yeah, there's no reason for me not to knock her out. So I'm going to deal 3 damage to her with Gambit. So he takes a damage, she takes 3 damage. So then we read Hope's Captor. It says, when the villain would be defeated, reset the attached villain's hit points to its printed hit point value and flip this card and reveal it. Okay, so normally she is at 10 health. But with the backside of Hope's Captor, she is going to get +6, so she's going to be at 16. All right, and then it says, when revealed, advance the main scheme to stage 2A. This effect cannot be canceled. All right, and then she gets +1 bonuses. All right. So we'll move to the next stage. All right, the next stage says Escaping with Hope. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Marauder minion and puts that minion into play engaged with them. Give each Marauder enemy a tough status card. All right. Then, okay, so now we just need to defeat her again, or she needs to complete this scheme, and then that's going to be it. All right, so we need to find a minion. So we could just take Chimera back because she is in the discard pile, but she has Patrol, and this scheme goes a little bit faster than the last one, and so I don't want to have that block in the way right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of the Marauder minions that has Guard instead, so that I am not able to do damage to Arclight until I get rid of that minion, because Patrol is going to be tough with the main scheme going as fast as it is. So, all right, so I have 3 options. Okay, so I've got Blockbuster, who has Guard, and I have to give him a tough card or +2 attack. I've got Harpoon, which is give him +2 attack or take 2 indirect damage. And then I've got give Vertigo +2 attack or stun a character I control. Given all these options, unfortunately, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Harpoon. Well, Vertigo stunning my characters is annoying, but 0 + 2 is not as bad as I was thinking. So yeah, so I'm going to do Vertigo just because she only attacks for 0. So even if I do have to give her the +2, she's still only attacking for 2. Okay, so I'm going to get Vertigo. I did forget to mention what encounters I'm playing with. I just went with the next couple that I hadn't played with. Jubilee came with one called Arcade, so I'm playing with the Arcade encounter set. And then I'm also playing with the one that came with Nightcrawler, which is the Crazy Gang. So the Queen of Hearts leads the Crazy Gang. Those are the extra encounter sets I'm playing with that you don't normally use in this scenario. Okay, so all of that was a consequence of me defeating her down to 0 and resetting from defeating her. So it's technically still my turn. There's nothing else I can do. My hand is gone, so I'm going to go ahead and ready my characters and draw my new hand size, which is going to be 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I got Day Tripper, which is his signature ally. She says after she enters play, search your deck and discard pile for Bamf and attach it to an enemy. Deal 1 damage to each enemy with a copy of Bamf attached. I got 2 copies of Never Back Down, which is when you defend, you get +2. If you take no damage, stun the attacking enemy. Change of Fortune is an upgrade. If I defeat an enemy during the villain phase, exhaust this card and draw 2 cards. And then I got Sidestep. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of it. If you paid for this card using an energy resource, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Okay, so first thing that's going to happen is she's going to get 2 threat on her scheme. And then she would be attacking, but because there is a Marauder minion in play, that means she's going to scheme instead. So she is going to scheme for 2 because she's 1+1 from the upgraded side of Hope's Captor. So she's going to scheme for 2 + 1. So she's going to scheme for 3. Then Vertigo is going to attack, and I have to either stun Nightcrawler or Gambit, or give her +2 for the attack. I'm going to give her +2 for the attack, so she's going to be attacking for 2. And I am going to have Nightcrawler take it. And I'm going to exhaust Nerves of Steel to generate an energy resource for a defense event. And I'm going to play Sidestep with that resource. It says when you would take any amount of damage, I'm about to take 2. I prevent 3 of it, so I'm going to take none. Then if I paid for it with an energy resource, I deal 1 damage to an enemy. So I will deal 1 damage back to Vertigo. I could also do it to Arclight, but I need to get rid of Vertigo, so I'm going to do it there. Okay, so I took no damage, and I dealt a damage back. Then I'm going to have to do an encounter card for the round. My encounter card is, let's see, Pure Force. While Blockbuster is in play, this scheme gains the Crisis icon. While Chimera is in play, this scheme gains the Amplify icon. Okay, so neither of those are in play, so it just has the Acceleration icon with 4 threat. Just the Acceleration icon. All right. I haven't played this scenario solo before. I've only ever played this scenario multiplayer, and I think I've only played this scenario once, maybe twice. I didn't remember the threat getting this out of hand this quickly with this scenario, but man, okay. There's not a whole lot I can do on my next turn, which is unfortunate. I will use Gambit's last attack to deal 3 damage to Vertigo. So she's going to get knocked out. And so is Gambit. Then I will spend a resource. I'm going to get rid of Change of Fortune. I'm going to discard a card from my hand to pull a copy of Bamf back to my hand. And I'm going to play that copy of Bamf, attach it to Arclight. And then I'm going to spend 2 resources to play Day Tripper. When she enters play, search my deck and discard pile for a copy of Bamf and attach it to an enemy. And then deal 1 damage to each enemy with a copy of Bamf attached. So I guess I didn't need to... Let's hold on to... Let's hold on to Change of Fortune. No, let's hold on to one of the Never Back Downs. I'll hold on to one of the Never Back Downs. I didn't need to do his action on his card here if I'm going to do Day Tripper. So instead of using his ability here to find Bamf, I'll use her ability to find that Bamf and put it on it that way. That way I can save a card. Then let's thwart for 2, thwart for 4 on the main scheme. And knock that down to 2. Because even if I thwart Pure Force and get rid of it, the main scheme would still be at 6. It would go up to 8. Right now it's at 2, and it would go up to 5 at the moment. So yeah, I think I have to do it that way. Okay, so then I will ready, and I will draw. So I'm holding on to Never Back Down. I need to draw 4 new cards. All right, I got Port and Punch. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Deal 3 damage to each enemy with Bamf attached. Energy Barrier, when you would take any amount of damage. Remove a counter from here and prevent 1 of that damage and deal damage to an enemy. Iron Fist Ally. He comes in with 2 counters. When he attacks, remove a counter and stun an enemy and deal a damage. One more is another copy of Never Back Down. Okay. So then she would normally be getting 2 threat. She's going to get a 3rd threat from the acceleration icon on Pure Force. So she's up to 5. Then she would attack, but she's not going to because she is stunned. So she's just going to lose that stun card. Then that's it for that. So then she gives me an encounter card for the round, which is the villain attacks. Okay, that's fine. So she has Bamf attached. So I'm going to discard Bamf and declare Nightcrawler the attacker, our defender, without exhausting him. She attacks for 2 inherently, and then either gets +2 and attacks for 4, or I have to confuse a character I control. I'm going to let her have the +2, and I'm going to exhaust Nerves of Steel to generate a resource for a defense event, and I'm going to play Never Back Down. When you defend, you get +2. If you take no damage, stun the attacking enemy. So my +2 gives me 5 defense, and she is attacking for 3, plus a boost card. So she's attacking for 3, 4, 5, which is exactly how much defense I had. And Never Back Down says if you take no damage, stun the attacking enemy. So she's just going to be restunned. All right. Then it is going to go back to me, and we are going to, let's discard a resource from my hand. I'm going to discard Iron Fist, and I'm going to go find Bamf, and I'm just going to immediately play it again and attach it to Arclight. Then I'm going to spend the other 2 resources I have left in my hand to play Port and Punch, which says deal 3 damage to an enemy, then deal 3 damage to each enemy with Bamf attached. So I'm going to deal 6 damage to Arclight because she has Bamf attached. Knock her down to 10. Then this time, I think it's going to be worth it to get rid of Pure Force. So I'm going to thwart for 2 twice and get rid of Pure Force. And that will take out Day Tripper. This is a good time to ask for people's input. I am not a Marvel comics reader as much as I am a DC comics reader. Most of my Marvel consumption has come from the movies, not just the MCU, but all of the movies. The X-Men movies, Fantastic Four, such and such. I had never heard of this character. Maybe she was in one of the X-Men movies and I just didn't remember. If there is a comic that has her in it that you would recommend, let me know so I can go read it. Okay. I'm out of cards, so I'm going to go ahead and ready and then draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's see. I got Kurt's Cutlasses. Counts as 2 restricted cards. You can only have 2 restricted cards, so this 1 card counts as 2. But it gives him +1 attack, +1 defense, and retaliate 1. I got a copy of Sidestep. I got Under Control. Attached to a minion. After a hero defends against attached minion's attack and takes no damage, deal 4 damage to attached minion. This is good for this particular scenario, but I don't have any minions out at the moment. I drew a copy of Banff. That's the first time I've done that. And then Flow Like Water. After you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. All right, so Sidestep will be the one that Oh, I guess she's stunned, so she's not going to be attacking me right now, unless she attacks twice like she did last time. Okay, so she's going to get 2 threat on the scheme. She goes up to 7. Then she is going to attack me, but she doesn't because she is stunned. Then she is going to get an encounter card. Don't be advance. Hey, she attacked me twice again. All right, so she's got Banff attached. So I'm going to discard that and defend without exhausting. I'm going to spend Nerves of Steel to generate a resource for Sidestep. She is attacking for 1. I will give her the +2, so she's attacking for 3. I defend for 3. And if I paid for this card using an energy resource, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So no matter what, I'm dealing a damage back to her. So she's down to 9. Then she's attacking me for 3 plus a card, and I'm defending for 3. So she's going to deal some damage to me most likely. So 3 plus 2 is 5, so I take 2. Down to 6. Okay, back to my turn. All right, sorry, I just completely knocked over my camera. All right, so it's my turn. Let's see. I've got a copy of Banff, so I might as well attach that to her. I'm going to have to thwart for 2, so I'll get rid of these 2. Get that back down to 5, and then I will pay 2 resources and play Kurt's Cutlasses, which gives him +1 attack, +1 defense, and gives him retaliate. And on her last attack, it should have been 1, 2, 3, 4. So she should have hit me for 1 more damage. Okay. So then that's it for that turn. It's kind of a tread water turn, unfortunately. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Okay. So I drew Port Away, discard a copy of Banff from your hand to change forms and ready your identity. Sidestep again. Tally Ho, after Banff makes Nightcrawler the defender of an attack, return that copy of Banff to your hand. Deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. Port and Punch, 3 damage to an enemy, 3 damage to each enemy with Banff attached, and Energy Barrier, prevent a damage, deal a damage. All right. She gets those 2 threat that I just took off. She gets those back. All right. Then she's going to attack me. I'm going to discard Banff to become the defender without exhausting. which then I will exhaust Nerves of Steel to play. Technically, I can't do that yet because I'm not taking damage yet. I'm going to discard Energy Barrier to play Tally Ho. So it says, after Bamf makes Nightcrawler the defender of an attack, return that copy of Bamf to your hand. So I get that copy of Bamf back to my hand. And deal 3 damage to the attacking enemy. Okay, so I'm going to knock Arclight down to 6. Okay. Then she is attacking me for 2 plus 4 unless I confuse Nightcrawler. Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and let her confuse me because I think I'm going to be able to knock her out on my next turn. As long as she doesn't draw Advance as her encounter card, which is going to make me win, or that her drawing Advance is going to make me lose no matter what. So I'm going to let her confuse me so that she only attacks for 1, plus 1. So she's attacking for 2. I'm defending for 3, 4. I'm defending for 4. You know what? No, I'm not going to let her confuse me, I don't think. Yeah, so she's attacking me for 2, plus 2 is 4. I'm defending for 3, plus 1 is 4. So she's hitting me for 4, 5. Now I can exhaust Nerves of Steel and use that to play Sidestep. I defended for 4, she hit me for 5, so I would be taking 1 damage. I prevent 3 of it, and since I paid for it with an energy resource, I deal a damage to the enemy. So I deal a damage to the enemy, and then the very last thing, since I am still alive, I deal Retaliate 1 from Kurt's Cutlasses, since she is still alive. All right, encounter card. As long as this is an advance. All right. Bound by Business. Discard cards until a Marauder minion that does not share a title with a card in play is discarded. Put that minion into play engaged with you. All right. Hopefully this minion does not have guard. If it has patrol, then we're good. It has to be a Marauder minion. Is that what it said? Until a Marauder minion that does not... Okay, so I can't get Arcade. That's unfortunate because it'd be fun to have these minions that we don't get to see very often. All right, keep going. Gosh darn it, that's the worst possible option. Okay. All right then. Well, I was just about to win, and then Blockbuster had to come out. Okay, well, I'll attach Bamf to Blockbuster. Then I will spend 2 resources to play Port and Punch. 3 damage to an enemy, 3 damage to each enemy with Bamf. So that's 6 damage to Blockbuster. Then I will thwart for 2. And we'll live to fight another day, I guess. Ready, up, and draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. It's unfortunate. All right, so I drew a Bamf. Under control. No minion in play, so that doesn't matter. Tally Ho won't do anything because I don't have Bamf in play. Prehensile Tail is an upgrade. Generate a wild resource for an event. Can't use that. Powerful Punch. Here we go. When an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. So as long... I just won, I believe, just from drawing that card. Okay, so she gets 2 threat on her scheme. Then she's attacking me. That's now. She's initiating an attack. This is a defense event, so I can use Nerves of Steel for it. Plus 1 card from my hand. I'll use the Bamf. Why not? 2 resources. When an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. Boom. Dead. Oh boy. Blockbuster coming out. right at the end. I found a way to deal with him right away. The threat was nuts on this one. I was barely holding on that one. If advance had come out once, I even when I was discarding cards until I got a minion, there it is. Just a couple more cards. Man, that was close and lucky. Sweet. All right. Well, it was fun to get back into recording these again. Nightcrawler has been by far the most exciting character that they've added to the game in a long time. I've really, really enjoyed playing him. And so I'm really glad that they made him the way they did. He's a ton of fun and just makes the game really fun. I kind of figured he would be okay playing in solo deck because of how well he has done in multiplayer, but I wasn't sure because I hadn't done it yet. So that was lots of fun. Hopefully I didn't make any huge, terrible mistakes. I think I played fairly well. So yeah, it was nice to get back into doing these again. The next time I play one, I will... Hopefully it's not another month before I get to play again, but it might be. So I might be playing Magneto, the hero character Magneto. But if I get another game in before that, I will go back to alphabetical order and I will play Spider-Ham. I've been putting that off for a while. So either Magneto next if it's a while before I get back to this, or Spider-Ham. So we'll see. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for being patient with me taking a while before I got back to this. So, all right, thanks.